So we start with inequitable distribution of wealth and resources. So inequitable distribution of wealth and resources is when only a few people have access to the resources of a country, while majority suffer in poverty. Yes? Inequitable distribution of wealth means that few have access to every resource, and others who are many are in what? Poverty. What are the causes of inequitable distribution of wealth? We have having a few rich and majority poor. What is the meaning of resources? Also, when in school, your textbooks are resources, right? Teachers are resources. The laboratories are what? A resource. And when we're talking here about inequitable resources, which you have access to resources of resources are like you have access to what? To good roads for transport, yes. You can access an hospital anytime. You know, there are people who cannot access an hospital. That is a resource. What else can you access? Yes? Tell me about them. Resources. What? Minerals, yes. If your area has minerals, the areas which have minerals, there's sometimes that... which minerals do we have in Kenya? If we had it, everyone would be there. Yes. Also, resources are like education, yes? There are those areas whereby children cannot access good education, right? They are not, but currently in Kenya, they are trying in all areas so that we can have teachers there and schools, right? Also, education is a resource. What else? Communication network, yes. Communication network is a resource. What else? And you've not told me about the minerals. You've not talked about the minerals. Soda ash. Causes of inequitable distribution of wealth is few rich and majority are what? Poor. So we are having very few rich people while the majority are poor. In Kenya, over 50% of its population currently lives below poverty line. That is over 50%. Also, we have high potential areas, and we also have the marginal areas. What does it mean? It means that some areas of Kenya are endowed with plenty of natural resources, while others do not have. Yes, high potential areas are like which areas? We have areas like Kericho where there is what? There is tea, yes. And then marginalized areas. Yes, Turkana. Yes, Turkana. Why are you being very specific? Another cause of inequitable distribution of wealth is educational institutions located in what? In one area. We find that most educational and training institutions which provide quality education and training are what? Are in one area. Or we have inaccessible health facilities. Like where we've talked about, there we have from where I come from. In order for people to access an hospital, they can go miles and miles away. Even I know of a boy I used to teach, like 2 years ago in Form 4, who died because of a snake bite. They used to live, that place you can know is Pasimotomo. He was bitten by a snake, and then there was no vehicle. It's like 10 kilometers where the vehicle was, and it was a priest from a mission hospital. Sorry, a mission center. So he took the boy, and by the time they were in Mutomo, the general hospital there, he had passed on. So count yourselves lucky. Then we go to remedies. What are the remedies? What did I say? How can we correct or counteract the inequitable distribution of wealth? Number one, the government to ensure equitable distribution of what? Of wealth. Or generally, yes. Number two, we are supposed to develop all areas equally. Yes, by setting up this social what? Setting up social services evenly. Also, we are supposed to discourage the rich from oppressing and exploiting the poor. Because if the rich continue exploiting them, they will continue being rich, yes, and other people becoming what? Poor. If you are a rich person and you offer employment to a poor person, you're supposed to pay them according to work done. Because if you pay them lowly, that means the rich person will continue being rich and the poor what? Poor, yes. We should have fair employment practices, like the one that I've talked about. We teach what? Teach love. Because if we love one another, we are going to share. Even if your area has a lot of resources, you are going to do what? To ensure that the area that doesn't have resources, what? It's catered for. For example, how can you do this? You can send mobile clinics to those areas, yes? Yes, so that they can access them. You fund them from those areas that have these resources. Also, rich countries should help the poor ones. Yes, like you find that in the first world, they send a lot of what? They send a lot of aid to the third world countries to help. But I also recently discovered that even in those first world, there are very many poor people who do not have even homes to live. So I wondered, they're helping us, yes? And they've not helped some of their people. I don't understand. From there, we go to crime. What is crime? What is crime? Yes, crime, it is antisocial action that disturbs the peaceful society, and it is punishable by law. Anything that disturbs the order or the stableness or the peace of the society is punishable by law is a crime. For example, what? Give examples of crime. Loud music being played at night in residential areas. Yes, I want to name that one because most of you are prone to it. Number two, driving while drunk. Sexual immoralities such as rape, stealing, robbery with violence, land grabbing, murder, carjacking, terrorism, and also embezzlement of public funds. All those are crimes and many others. What are the causes of crimes? Can you read that first cause? It's called what? How come you're not reading it loudly? What is the first cause? Yes? Covetousness, so it's covetousness. I don't know. Ask Marcia. It's true. If you can hear his English. So this is strong desire to have things that others possess. That is the first cause of crime. Even here in school, those people who are stealing from others is because they have strong desire to have things that others do what? Possess. If you're stealing money, it's because you want to have whatever the next person what has. Number two is overindulgence in alcohol and what? And drugs. Yes, some of people who are committing murder is because they are intoxicated in drugs. Also, desire for power. This may lead some people to desire ways of eliminating those in power so that they can take over their businesses or political positions. There is also unemployment and underemployment. Many qualified people who do not have jobs or are not meaningfully occupied may turn into criminal what? Activities. Especially if you look at the crime in Kenya has risen. Many people are being carjacked because there is what? Unemployment. Revenge. When people feel that someone in authority has treated them unfairly, yes, and they are not in a position to reason with them, they can revenge by maybe destroying or stealing their property or beating or harassing them. Another cause of crime is what? Urbanization. So many people from different communities converge in the urban centers. And most of the people do not have means for livelihood. Therefore, they are unemployed, so they resort to what? To criminal activities. From there, we look at the remedies. How can we correct or counteract crime? Number one is through what? Punishment. Yes. Punishment of offenders. For example, we imprison them. That is imprisonment, capital punishment, corporal punishment, detention without trial, deportation, and exile. In Kenya, do we have deportation? Yes? We do not have. Have we ever deported anyone who was? Yes. There are two brothers. You were very young. I don't even know whether you remember. You were so young. Another reason why we can remedy crime is encourage people to observe the valid laws. As in, observe laws. Encourage people to observe laws. Rehabilitation. That is helping one to readapt to the society. Rehabilitation takes place after one is from what? And after one engages in an antisocial behavior, they can be rehabilitated in order to go back to this. Rehabilitation takes place after someone is from prison. Are you understanding? When you get out of the prison, you should be rehabilitated now in order to fit in the community. And there are usually ways of rehabilitating them. And one of them is in the point number 4, whereby we involve criminals in church activities. If we involve them in church activities, you know, they will see the sense of worship, right? Yes, they will see, even they will start believing in God and believing in the faith, so we can curb crime. That's why. So if we involve these criminals in church activities, we are going to do what? To remedy crime. Another way that we can correct crime is preaching about the account one will give to God about life what? Lived. Yes. You know, if you are preached on, we are usually told that when we go to heaven, everyone will go in before God, yes? And say whatever they did. There will be, actually there is one, I don't know, it's a pastor who told us when I was in high school, that will be shown a video of how we were living, yes? Yes, how was Monyoki doing? Yes, everything I did, if I did a sin, it is there being seen. Yes? So that can make you do what? Do the right thing, because you know that during the last days, it will be you and who? And your God. Another thing is bridging the gap between the rich and the poor. And how do we bridge the gap? How do we bridge the gap between the rich and the poor? Yes? By helping the what? The poor, yes. You can help them by starting what? By giving them funds to start their own what? Businesses, yes? So that they can be able to give themselves food to eat. You can help them by giving them jobs which are paying. But the best way to help to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor is education. You educate their children. You know, if their children are learned and they start working, you know, they're going to help the whole family. Education does wonders. Another way we can remedy this is upholding Christian values and principles. Yes, because our principles in Christianity and value is that we cannot sin against God. And all the crimes are sins against what? God. Participation of the youth in community development. Yes, mostly, those people who are involved, not like 75% are what? The youth. So if they are participating in community development, they are working. So there are no people to do what? To be included in crime. Who is here you've ever seen on television when we have those people who have been killed? Have you ever seen an old person gunned down by police? Yeah. That says it a lot, that we are supposed to help the youth to participate in development. Because like the other day, the youth, whatever, it's called the youth who are being employed. It's called kazi kwa vijana. Yes. So the youth are being involved in work. Because all this work that they were doing is to help the communities, right? And if they are engaged, there is no crime. If you look at an area whereby the youth are not educated and they're just seated there somewhere on the jobless corner, then that community cannot stay a night without a crime. Someone cannot pass without getting what? Robbed. Yes. Or carjacked. And in future, that's why I'm telling you, in your community where you live, ensure that you are your brother's keeper. Ensure that as you're studying, you tell the other students also, whether they listen or not, you tell them to keep working hard in school. Because the moment you complete your school here and the university, you'll buy your own car, right? You won't be able to keep that car there in your community. If all the other boys are not learned, they will steal the what? The car tires. They will mug you. It is not a lie, and there is nothing you can do about it. So that's why we have to work together with the youth. Also, another way is improving security. Security is whereby we can have the nyumba kumi, right? Yes, that's one way. So from there we go to church-state relationship.